Hello, I'm Vitti from Vitti Robinson Photography, and this is my first posting for Shutter Rock UK Share School. I think I've got it right. Oh, guys, you made it so complicated. Can't say it. Anyway, I specialise in family photography and shooting families on location in natural light, and what I'd love to share is what I've learnt on how to get the most out of children and on a shoot and make sure that you're capturing them at their best, and how to overcome problems like when they lack of cooperation and tricky children, difficulties, tricky parents sometimes. And the first thing I do, and I really have learnt this from my own errors, where I used to just sort of go in a bit gung-ho and just expect everything to fall into place, and sometimes it didn't. So the first thing I do is a pre-consultation with the mum, and we talk about all aspects of the shoot and what we want to achieve, but one of the things I make sure that I do discuss is how to sell the idea of the shoot to the children. And the no-nos are telling the children, oh, there's a shoot, you know, you will be wearing this, and you will smile for the nice lady photographer who's coming round, and she's coming round, you're going to behave, and you're going to do everything that we say, and blah blah blah. Invariably that ends in disaster. The child feels an incredible pressure to perform. They don't know what they're doing, they don't understand what a photo shoot is necessarily, and it just overwhelms them, and I can turn up to extremely stressed mothers or dads. I turned up at a shoot at the weekend, and I said hello to the dad, and he said, "You couldn't have chosen a worse day to do the shoot." I mean, literally that aggressive, and I said, "Oh, okay, oh well, we'll just sort of see what we can do." And the mum was so stressed, and she said she screeched at her daughter, and because she wouldn't wear what she wanted to wear, and I just had to reassure them and say, look, let me take over, and you take a step back, and I'll have a chat with her, but just give her some space, and etc. But that happened despite me warning them that would happen. So invariably you cannot control how things are going to take place, but it's just being totally prepared for it. It does help that I do the shoot in the home, in a familiar location. That does tend to work in my favour. I have had a lot of experience of a studio set up with doing shoots at a nursery, and I know that can make it extremely difficult for a child to come round because they're just so scared of the actual setup. So playing down the shoot, making sure that the parents don't oversell it, that they just say, I'm coming round, I'm going to play with them and have a lot of fun. I just happen to be bringing a camera and going to take some informal shots, and that generally sort of primes them that it's not going to be very, very scary. I also say, don't worry about the clothes. It's good to think ahead of what clothes you want to wear and combining it, but if they don't want to wear it, that's fine. I view every shoot that everyone needs a bit of a warm-up time, so I can take some photos in the clothes that they're not meant to be wearing, and then gradually, as they start to trust me, introduce the idea of wearing what had been pre-selected. But with older children, I tend to position it as a fashion shoot, and say it's going to be quite like a fashion shoot. We're going to try this on and try this and this and put this together, and to help them put some input in as well, and that really helps. And with the younger ones, that can be a sort of incentive of wearing what they want to wear at the end, if they've been really good and listened and had a good and put on this top that mummy really wants them to wear, or that I think looks particularly good, or something like that, and just really encourage them. At some point, it's been very rare that they've absolutely flatly refused to wear something. Normally they flatly refuse because it's something that they've never worn before, and that isn't a good idea anyway, because they're not going to feel very comfortable. They've got to feel themselves. Once we're in the shoot, I try and tell the parents not to direct with smiles and things. I tend to hear a lot of, "Oh, darling, that's not your. Oh, smile properly. That's your funny smile. That's your photograph smile." And actually, I'm not really concerned about the smile as such. Of course, it's important that they smile, but normally you're going to get the natural smile when they're doing it without thinking about it, and when they're thinking about other things and having a great time. So it's much more important that mum and dad are somewhere behind me, near camera level or wherever I want the child to be looking, and entertaining them, making them laugh, doing silly things, doing things that are slightly out of the norm of what they normally do, or naughty words they're normally told off for saying, and things like that really help make the child think, "Oh, this is really special. I'm getting away with lots of naughty things. This is great." And you start to kind of liven up and waken up, and then you're really capturing them at their best at that point. And the other thing is that when I arrive at a shoot and start to be introduced to the children, I really try very hard not to ignore the parents, but to really kind of zone them out and focus entirely on the child and get down to their level, look in their eyes, talk to them, listen to them, ask them questions, show interest, make them the centre of my world for a few minutes. And it's amazing the impact that has. They really suddenly think, "Oh, this lady's really interested in us," and they want to, and then they start to want, that turns into a kind of wanting to please, because they're really, enjoying the attention and enjoying having someone, a stranger, effectively just sort of really show an interest, and that's always a winner. And the other thing, particularly when they're being difficult, there's two approaches I take. The first is that if they're upset or if they're shy, I kind of try and acknowledge it. I'm not afraid to say that, I don't try and brush over their feelings. It's really good to kind of hit it head on. So say they're nervous, I'd say, "Well, I guess you're a bit nervous. It's a bit funny having a photo shoot, and I'm a little bit nervous too. And hey, wouldn't it be great if you were my assistant and you helped me, and we kind of help one another out, and depending on the child, I mean, obviously you play everything differently. There's no set words or set speech you can do, but by telling them you get them, it really is very, very powerful, and really starts building a trust there, and they kind of, they feel they've been listened to and understood, and it has a huge impact. And the other approach I take is subtly praising them, even when they aren't necessarily doing anything that's obviously praiseworthy. They might be, you might have got them to reluctantly stand where you want them to stand, and you praise them for doing that. "Well done for standing there. I'm so proud of you, because that's a really brave move." And aren't you clever? Obviously it's got to be the right age appropriate, but just finding something to encourage them, some sort of, even no matter how small, can have the biggest effect and can really set you up for a great shoot and some great natural shots. And it's something that a toolbox now that I kind of rely on for all my shoots, and so much of it is psychological. In order to get those pictures, there's been a lot of work put in on the psychological front, but once you've done it and you know that they're responding and listening to you, you just reap the rewards with great pictures. So that's all I have to say, and thank you for listening. Well done. Bit of praise for you as well. And I look forward to watching everyone else's videos, learning more, and giving more when I can. And the last thing I want to say is, if you have any particular questions or specific questions you want to ask me, email me, vitti@vittyrobinson.com. I'd love to hear from you and love to help out. Okay, bye.